Good morning, scholars. Today is Wednesday, May 6th, 2020. In math, we've been focusing on our key addition words and also in time. Let's take a look at those key addition words again. Oh, that's not the one. Here they are. All right, scholars, key addition words. Remember, we had quite a few words that can help us think that our word problems could be using addition. Remember that we can't rely on these key words. They're words that help us start thinking about addition, but we might have to just check and see, is that what we're really doing? So words could include total, plus, sum, join, both, together, combined, add, how many in all, increase, and all together. Now, we've seen a lot of different addition word problems. So when we're thinking about word problems, remember, we're thinking if there's two things that come together, we have to be adding. If I have 3 markers, I bought 3 more, do you see the keyword more? It means I have to add them together because I know that I'm getting more. Now, what if I wanted to say, Miss Mosley has 3 markers and Miss Hilton has 3 markers. How many do they have all together? Do you see how when we think about that word all together, it means that all of whatever we're looking at is coming together. Let's think about time now. In our time, we know that we have an hour hand and a minute hand. And the hour hand is our shorthand. It tells us the hour. It's not gonna reach all the way to the numbers. It's gonna stop before we get to the numbers. It's a shorter hand. It's a small hand. And then we have the minute hand. It tells us the time in minutes, and it's the long hand. It goes all the way past the numbers into the edge of the clock. Now, yesterday we took some time to think about how when we have an hour hand that's in between 2 numbers, we know that it's the number that came first. So let's take a look at what that's going to look like today. I'm going to put a time on this clock so we can see. I'm going to use my red hour hand and I'm going to point it right here. So let's take a look at this here and see what 2 numbers is this hour hand pointing between. It's pointing between the 5 and the 6. So that tells us that it's going to be one of these 2 hours, 5 or 6. Which one is it going to be? Well, remember, it's going to be the one that came first. So 5 comes before 6. So that means this is going to be in the hour of 5. Let's give a minute now. Now I'm going to put my minute hand pointing straight down to the 6. It's going to go all the way to the edge. Now, scholars, remember that we count by 5s when we're thinking about minutes. So we start up at the top. And then I know that 1 is 5, 2 is 10 minutes, 3 is 15 minutes, 4 is 20, 5 is 25 minutes, and 6 is 30 minutes. I'm going to stop right there because that means my time on this clock is showing me 5:30. This time is showing 5:30. Remember, scholars, that we have 2 different parts of our time. The hour, then we put these 2 dots called colons, and then we put the minutes, the hour, and then the minutes. All of our time needs to be written that way. These are important parts for us to be looking at here. I want to show you key parts of the clock. So the key times that I want to show you guys are when we have the minute hand pointing straight at the 12 or the minute hands pointing at the 6. There's 2 minute hands on this clock, but you know that that's not going to happen. But let's take a look at what that means. When the minute hand points straight at the 12, we're not going to put 60 minutes there. We're going to put a 0, 0, and we call that o'clock. So whatever the hour hand points to, whether it points to 1, and we say 1 o'clock, or it can point at the 2, so we say 2 o'clock. Whenever the minute hand is right on the 12, that's a brand new hour. So we're going to be calling that o'clock, and we write it as 00. it doesn't matter where it goes, but the hour hand will always be pointing right at the number that tells us the brand new hour. So 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, the hour hand will point exactly at the number of the new hour. So we'll say whatever the hour is, o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Now, when it points at the 30, though, our hour hand is going to go in between two numbers. Remember that this is a place where we don't want to get tripped. It's pointing between the 12 and the 1, even though the minute hand is down here at the 6. When it's pointing between two numbers, we always look at the two numbers it's pointing between, and the number that comes first. And even in this case, the 12 is coming before the 1, so it would be 12:30. So when we write the numbers, we write 12, our colon, and the 30. Okay, scholars, in your work today, you're going to be looking at clocks and you're going to be telling the time again. We're going to be looking at numbers or times that are at the beginning of the hour. So o'clock is how we say it. So 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, remember, or at 30 minutes. So you're going to be making sure that you're careful to see what hour it's at, and then looking, is the minute hand pointing at the 12 for a new hour, an o'clock, or is it pointing at the 6 for a 30 minutes halfway through the hour? All right, scholars, have an awesome day of learning.